Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today, I'd like to talk to you about another underrated film. And this one's another Disney classic, which I still say The Eternals is underrated and an amazing superhero film. But this is not a superhero film. This is a film I grew up watching. In fact, I actually just had the pleasure of rewatching it this past weekend with my niece. Maybe, well, she seemed to enjoy it, but I'm thinking maybe it was a little bit dark for her to watch. But the film I'm going to talk about that you should check out is James and the Giant Peach, and the story centers around an orphan who lives with her begrudge is not the right word, but it's an orphan who lives with some two cruel aunts, and he suddenly is given a magic worm, takes a bite out of it, and he gets uh he gets into this giant peach and befriends with a bunch of bugs, and they try to travel to New York City, which is what the main character has always dreamt about by living in New York City. So they go to escape his terrible aunts, and it's it's an adventure fantasy film. Produced by Tim Burton, but directed by Henry Selick. I believe that's the guy's name. Henry, yeah. And going into this movie, go rewatch it. 'Cause I can tell you right now, I've been watching this movie as long as I can remember it. I remember, I think I discovered it watching it in school when I was in kindergarten or preschool. It might have been kindergarten. And I was so just immersed into the story and in the world. It just felt very it felt interesting. I don't know. It just was just amazing. You don't see movies like these anymore, where it's like a coming of age story of a child character who has lived in this. And unfortunately, it's a depressing world. He lives in this depressing world, and he wants to get out of it and explore the nuance of what else could be out there besides what my current living situation is for the better. Like I want to go out and adventure and see new things and to escape my bad life to leap into a new life. That's a good, story device that I've really liked in these children movies growing up, and these kind of movies that felt like really have an important lesson of s- really standing up on your own two feet, even as a kid, but and being brave enough to venture out into a world that is very, very dangerous, which is what this main character does, James, who is given the opportunity to possibly leave his current environment, which the aunts are just so cruel. They're just so ugly and cruel and messed up. You want James to succeed in this film. You want him to escape. You want him to find the nurturing love and family, the kind of family that he really wants to experience. And you're rooting for him. You're rooting for him once he gets his opportunity to get in that peach, which grows from this tree and it becomes like a big hot air balloon, and meets these bugs that he's met early into the film, and they all kind of have their own little thing going on. And how many bugs are there? I think there are like five, and the five of them, including James, well, six, start formulating a family touching kind of relationship where they're building up, um, where they're building up and trying to help improve each other's flaws, and then motivating them and encouraging them to do better. And it's very unique, and I think touching at the same time. And it does hit for me a level of nostalgia of seeing drama like that in a family film where they could go into some dark places, but somehow within that within the moments of these dark scenes or these dark parts in the film, there's always a little bit of light that brings the main character to a uh, moment of realization that no, I need to keep going to be strong and fight off against this bad vibes that I'm getting from my environment. Like I got to keep pushing, and that's what I really found inspiring from this film, where James soon discovers having a new family and the stakes that he was willing to sacrifice to find that new world, that new family, and reach his destination of exploring a new place that may prove beneficial to him. And to an extent, it does. It does. It does to the end of the film. Now, do the effects hold up? No, no, it don't. It does not. It does not. But I can tell you the message behind the film holds up universally, and I believe I think it's a very criminally underrated Disney film. I think this one gets swept under the radar a lot. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think just movies that tend to focus more on drama and darker aspects of human life and advertised as a kids movie doesn't sell well. It just doesn't. Like I think the budget on it was doable, but it was fine. It succeeded, but it ain't like 100 million on it. Like it barely made like a gross revenue, and that's unfortunate. Like I think this film is very underrated for a kids film. I think a lot of kids could like this film, and I do believe the themes of this film is still relevant for today. Um, and this movie deserves a rewatch. I loved it. Like when I rewatched it this weekend, I was trying to finish some a project, but I ended up taking a little break to watch my niece, and I just figured, I put this on Disney Plus, and you know, I'm glad I rewatched it. Felt very nostalgic. It felt very, I don't know, like a breath of fresh air of being having that sense of being a kid and having that sense of curiosity of wonder of what else the world has to offer and willing to learn and discover new things but in a positive way. And I feel like a lot of kids movies nowadays lack that. I feel like the only film as of recently that had that curiosity of wonder in certain darker settings was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and I love that film. This is probably going to be one of my favorite kids movies, and I think you should really check this film out. Anybody who hasn't discovered James and the Giant Peach, for any parents who haven't seen this film, I really recommend checking this movie out. There are some frightening horror like imagery in this film. I mean, it's under Tim Burton, so you're going to get that. But here, I thought this film was just beautiful. I mean, it's a fun little kids movie that you can check out. James and the Giant Peach. Have you seen it? Comment below. Let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.